So, Smadar, I'd like you to, eh, you know, tell everyone how these, you have a twin journey, right? You have both the psychology, the study of psychology, and the work of psychology, and also the art making. So, how did these two roads converge for you? What started out? What was first? What came after?
Okay. So first of all, I think art was always in my life. I always did art. I always loved art. Um, Even in elementary school, I was like very much into it. And then when I was 15, my family moved from Israel to New York. And I happened to go to the School of Art and Design, where I totally um, saw how much I am connected to art.
What
Um,
years were you there?
I'm sorry, what years? I graduated in 1977, I think.
You're kidding.
Why, you too?
I graduated in 74.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's great. I love it. Yeah, art and design was like heaven for me all of a sudden, just going to a place where all you do what you love all day long, it was really
Right.
special.
I agree.
Um, but then I moved back to Israel and back and forth, and um, I didn't really go straight to college. I got married, and uh, after I had my third child, I started to go to university. And um, I have to say that it was following postpartum depression. And the reason I went to school mostly was to understand myself and to really um, understand what happened to me, because everything was relatively good. And here I am feeling miserable, and what's going on? So while I was pursuing, I mean, actually, it wasn't like I'm pursuing a degree. It was like, how can I understand myself? And I started to go to school. I went to Lehman College. I did.
Wow.
I took some art and I took some psychology.
That's crazy.
Why, you too?
I went to Lehman also.
That is crazy.
That is crazy. So you were in the art building when it was off campus.
Um, Off campus. I don't know.
When
It
it
was
was
a
a small
side
building.
building on the left.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
You're
Um,
twins.
what?
Separate your twins, separated at birth.
So, yeah.
You majoring in at Lehman? Dennis?
I majored in art education.
Huh? Okay.
Um, I went to Lehman for a while, for a few semesters, and then I transferred to Sarah Lawrence College. And even though they don't have a legit major, I focused on psychology and art, and that's it. And so the art continued to be in my life, and then I continued. I still did not understand myself fully, so I continued to pursue a degree in counseling psychology at Teachers College, and and truthfully, always the art was always accompanying me, some one way or another. It was a long time. I did ceramics, I did printmaking. I mean, I did all kinds of art. And when I graduated from Teachers College, I started to do some groups. And very naturally, I would ask them to draw and to make spontaneous images. And I said, you know what, let me learn a little bit more about this. So I found this art therapy program at New Rochelle, College of New Rochelle. And I figured I'll just take a couple of classes and I'll get the gist of it, because I already have a license. I already have my degree in counseling. But I just continued and continued until I did a full second master's. And one of the things that I studied there, which is leading to the art that I'm showing right now, was phototherapy.
Mm.
And we did it with the aid of Photoshop. I mean, I guess because things have moved so much right now, we made a use of Photoshop as a way of manipulating images. And I totally fell in love with this technique, you know. And it lets you combine your own artwork and digital images, and you can manipulate it in many different ways. And I just continue to do it. Even after school was over, I continue to do it. And these are the images that you're seeing now, some of them.
Okay, so why don't we get into them? Because it would be
Sure.
interesting then, once we see the images, that you talk a little bit more about the technique of doing it.
Okay.
Because that also was something that, you know, I looked at and interested me, you know, how do you, where do you start? How do you do it? And so forth.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
so um, let me share the screen.
While you're doing that, I just want to say one fast thing. I was a
Yeah.
photojournalist for 8 years with a your art would not exist. It did not exist then. It was a big scandal if anyone tried to touch anything that was not true. So this is a whole new world that I never experienced because I stopped doing photography and started poetry way before all of Photoshop. So it is a privilege for you to be able to do that. And I'm very excited to see your work.
Thanks.
Okay, so, oh, share, here we go. Here we go. Okay, an eye into the eye. It's almost like we're going to have an art therapy session right now. So this particular panel is the curator's take on the exhibit. So, and you can read it at your leisure, you know, when you go through the exhibit again. But it's all about entering the inner through art, and how art can be a healing form. And I'd like you to, and that's very much what you're talking about, Smadar, and I'd
Right.
like you to speak to that as well. So, and one of the things you talk about is to say at the moment you're viewing the image to inquire into your feelings. So that's something I want to ask the participants to do as well. So what we're going to do first is just to do a slow crawl through the virtual hang, and then we'll look at the individual images. Okay. Tell me if I'm going too fast or too slow. And I should mention about this one, if you've looked at it before, it was awarded first place, best in exhibit, best in show, at a juried competition at the College of New Rochelle.
Mm.
When there are multiple photos, would you stay on it a little longer?
We're, Ernice, we're gonna go through the individual ones. I'm just doing
Oh, I see.
the hang, you know, I'm just showing you the relationship that I saw between the images, but we're going to do each one individually.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So here is the first image, red chandelier. And I'd actually like to start off with this as the perfect image to ask, how do you feel looking at this image? How do you feel looking at this image? And would anyone like to take a shot at that question?
I would like to say something.
Yes, please.
Chandeliers are usually, their chandeliers are not red. And so this immediately reminds me of all the times that I wear red. And I've had boyfriends that have said, you know, what do you have to wear red for? Everybody else is wearing beige. And I would say, but that's who I am. You know, that's what I feel today. So I love this.
That's great.
I also like it, but for a very different reason. I find it quite evocative and provocative. The bird, the vase, which is misshapen, the very environment for a chandelier, and then its color repeated in the flowers. I find it a very rich picture in terms of the feelings that it evokes in me.
What feelings actually are they?
Well, mystery. What is going on here? Um, what is the man's relationship to the bird? Why is there a chandelier in what seems to be a cave?
Mhm.
And what's the source of the light over the upper left-hand corner? There's just so many questions that it poses for me. More questions than answers.
Do
Right.
do you find it oppressive?
No, not at all. Just evocative.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Anyone
Do
else?
you find it oppressive, Maria?
Yes, both oppressive and not, which is
Mhm.
very interesting. Um, I did want to let anyone else say something before I did. You know,
Yeah, it's in a very oppressive setting. It's like a tunnel, dark tunnel, but yet this red thing is fighting against that. It's adding its own hope. It's adding its, let's see, fight back, that kind of thing. That's how it feels to me.
I'll say something. I don't know what feelings it evokes exactly. It takes me a little while to get to that place, but I think it's really interesting that the light source would appear to be from the chandelier, but actually it
Mhm,
isn't at all from the chandelier. It's all from the
mhm,
external source, the natural light.
mhm, mhm.
And I've seen this many, many times, but it's just this time, for the first time, that occurred to me. That chandelier is totally superfluous in terms of, you know, it dominates the image, and yet it's not doing what you think it should be doing, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So I thought that was I never really realized that before.
Mm. Yeah, I connect the red, you know, the very blood red, with blood. I connect the urn with ashes, and I connect the especially that figure, which seems to be white-haired, with the flowers as someone coming to visit the ashes. So for me, there is a certain, and it's in this enclosed space. So for me, it has a certain um, more than provocative. It really touches you know, a very vulnerable place. On the other hand, there's that bird, there's that peacock, which for me is very much um, a life affirming kind of symbol. And there is, just as Hannah said, the light that comes from the outside, bringing light into this space. So it has a contradiction there, which is quite compelling. I can see why it won first prize. I mean, just from the standpoint of the evocativeness of it, you know, quite apart from the composition. So
I think that if the 9 bulbs were not on the chandelier and they are bright and lit, it would be a different picture. So I do appreciate that's part of what I think is fighting against that claustrophobic and very morbid environment, those 9 bulbs.
uh-huh. Smadar, do you want to say something about the piece, either from the standpoint of the emotional side of it or the compositional side of it?
Yeah. So it's funny because my feelings when I made it or afterwards were totally different from what you guys mentioned. I did not feel that it was oppressive, and the light is coming from the outside on the right side and from the little window.
Yeah.
And this is really an archaeological site in Caesarea in Israel. And I totally did not connect the vase like to an urn. Maybe that's because my culture, this is not our way of doing things. So to me, the vase is waiting to be filled, and the flowers are coming, with the peacock leading the way.
That's the way I saw it.
I'm sorry?
I said, that's the way I saw it.
Yeah. And if you think about it, sometimes we're in a dire place and we don't know how we'll get out of it or how things will change. And all of a sudden there's a messenger that brings that, answer to us. And it could be anybody at any minute. And you can wait there and the vase is waiting there. It could be for years, but in one instant, somebody can come in and fill that vase with flowers. So this is like my take on it.
Mhm.
So why the bird?
I just liked it. It's kind of leading the way. It's
A bridge between the vase and the man?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it a bridge between the vase and the man?
It could be, I guess. I don't know if I thought about it, but aesthetically, I liked it. And I like that it's kind of an entourage, even though entourage of 2, but I just like that, the way it looked. And I always like to bring something that is like not in your ordinary reality, so I think that it's funny also.
Is there,
Why did you choose a peacock? I mean, of all birds, this is a bird in its glory, is full of color and is very regal, and but this is a peacock, that's just kind of hanging out. He's not an excited peacock, right? He's not giving his full ability to
I don't have an answer to that. Sometimes it's like a gut thing, I play with the images and sometimes I'll struggle with it for a long time and change it and bring something else, and until it feels right, until aesthetically I like it, and until it resonates with me. So I don't know. I don't remember, but I saw this image and just worked for me.
Okay.
This is, I wanted to say something. This piece is very, very beautiful. One of the things, as I was hearing everyone talk, and I was really looking at this peacock, and I know that a peacock does, the feathers are open. And I was sitting here and I was saying, wow, at some point, this peacock is going to open his feathers. And it was almost like something that is anticipating something that is to come. But I find this very striking and very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Thanks.
So it's a great connection.
Okay, so I think we should.
Can I ask my question? I've been trying to get in. Is there, and this is for Smana, is there any significance in the misshapen form of the vase?
No,
No.
no.
Okay.
Not consciously, anyway.
Exactly. Totally.
Okay, so seeing through my eyes.
I found this very disturbing. I perceived the woman as injured and as not whole. And the fact that nature is showing through her eye bothered me. It felt more like perhaps a hurricane or a tornado had come through. It was not a peaceful or tranquil or comforting marriage of a human image and nature.
That's interesting. Creatively, I think it's wonderful because the tree behind the face creates the hair of the image.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
And I think the missing eye is not a missing eye, but a gateway into her inner soul. So I don't see it as disturbing. I just see it as a creative solution to a statement.
I see a very interesting and beautiful connection with the nature. I don't know, even almost natural disasters also, for me, in a sense, are beautiful. I don't see that here, but I know it was mentioned, but the connection with the sky and even the earth together was beautiful. I love the connection with the trees. Trees are symbolic in a lot of ways. New beginnings, starting over, a cycle of things.
Yes.
That's what I want to share.
And Smadar, could you say something about hold that thought, Madeline, because I know you want to say something. Could you say something about you started with the image? Yes, I mean with the woman. You started with that was a drawing.
It was a collage that was made of drawing and also collage, you know. And then it went through many, you know, manipulations and working out until I get to a place where I like it. Seeing through my eyes is like double meaning. It's, first of all, we always see through our eyes. Like 10 people can look at the same thing and everyone will see something different because they're seeing through the eyes of their psychology, of their heart, you know? So it's never objective. It's always seeing through my eyes. But also the image is seeing through her eyes, you know? She's transparent. So you can see through her eyes. And oftentimes we do see through people's eyes, you know, their eyes is what make us understand. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. And Madeline, you wanted to say?
Yes. I didn't see this as a hurricane with trees coming into her. Her expression is pained because to me, the tree is growing out of her, like self-realization and understanding and all that. And that is a painful, vulnerable thing. I love this piece very much. Identify with it totally. So that is what I'm seeing. And the dark eye is just much more powerful than the other eye, which is, you know, just very vague and faint. And so it's beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Whoa. This is untitled, and we left some of them untitled in order to see whether or not you wanted to title them, you, the audience, the participants, wanted to give a title to them. So obviously I saw this as somewhat of a companion piece to the one we just saw. And so you can start anywhere you want with this particular piece. But if you have a title for it, that would be lovely.
Mhm.
No one? No one? No one wants to say anything.
Like, just be spontaneous. It doesn't have to be, you know, nothing, there's no right or wrong. It's just like whatever jumps at you. Like, you look at it and what's the first word that you want to say?
Souls, the eyes of the souls.
Right. Anybody else wants to take a stab at this?
I don't know, for me, it feels very much like being trapped. I just, it really feels like a web that is very hard to escape.
Interesting.
Okay.
So what name, what title would you give it, Hannah?
Well, I think she said being trapped or trapped. Does that would
That would work.
would that capture it?
That could work.
Okay.
And they also look like children. Are they children? Are they images of children or
They
not?
do look like children.
Yeah.
At least one of them looks like a child. The one on the left and the one on the right is an adult.
Yeah, they both look like children to me somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe
There's
because they're
always-
trapped and they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable creatures, perhaps.
Maybe.
I very much like the fact that they're neither black nor white nor somewhere in between, Asian colored and so on. And it reminds me that fact that even though they are suggestive of humans, they remind me of Amy Sherrod, the artist who did Mrs. Obama's official portrait, and who says that I work in grays in terms of skin color. And I appreciate that sort of, that's the kind of take I have on this one.
Oh. Okay. This was part of a set of 4 that I put on one page. We'll go back, just, you know, to remind you. You don't have to have something to say about each piece. So if there is nothing, you know, we'll go on to the next one. Is that okay?
Sure.
This is another untitled piece, which you can take a shot at. I'm going to go on. I found this one very interesting in that I wasn't sure what this was. Right up here.
Yeah, it's flat and two-dimensional. So the development, and I'm not talking about the art, but of the person is ahead of them. It has not happened that much yet.
Mm.
How do you mean? What hasn't happened so much yet? I'm sorry.
I'm talking about that the image is flat.
Uh-huh.
And so to me, it's like a person that has much of their development ahead of them, because it's not a fleshed out person yet. It's a flat, two-dimensional psyche. So it's hopefully there's development ahead of them, but right now that the picture makes me feel stuck and sad, and that's how it feels.
Uh-huh.
That's much more sophisticated than my take on it. Like that, yes, it is a flat representation of a human, but the human is wearing a scarf, which
Oh,
is
I didn't
being
see that.
blown by the wind. That's
Uh,
that gray.
Is that the gray piece or is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
okay.
wind and the wind.
Okay. That's really interesting because I wondered if this wasn't a tale of another creature that I couldn't quite see.
Mhm.
Um,
Hmm.
it's very open to interpretation, isn't it?
I appreciate the treatment of the figure.
Mhm.
The treatment is duplicated in the landscape and vice versa.
It's what in the landscape? I'm sorry, Shanti.
The treatment of the landscape is the same treatment that the artist used in the figure. If you look at the rock, the texture of the rock and the pattern in the rock is duplicated in the figure.
Hmm.
So that could mean that this person is a person of strength. And I'm also, if you follow the curve of the arm, it leads you to the road. So I'm almost believing that this person is resting before they continue their journey.
Mhm.
I like that.
I like the setting. Can you just tell me quickly where it is?
This is taken in Israel and the Golan Heights.
Golan Heights.
Yeah. And I kind of wanted the figure to blend in with the terrain.
Mm.
Okay, you can continue.
Maria, can you go back to the person on the bicycle? Because I think there's a similarity between those two works. There's a path. We're not sure where this person is going, but they're determined to get there. And yet in the horizon, we see what could be a structure. And we're not sure if this is a road that's washed out or is actually a stream.
Whoops. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get rid of something there. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those two works are connected as far as paths, journey, and the unknown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of this. And I don't know why I can't. Please move this window away. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Any comments about this particular one?
No, don't move. Don't. You're moving too fast on the images.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because even though someone may not have an initial comment, these images evoked a lot of thought. So you have to give them a minute to absorb it.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. I mean, the first figure almost seems like a Harlequin outfit, not quite, but it's so bowed under pressure or weight of something. And the other figure seems horrified or warning that other person. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff here. very emotional.
Well, based on what you're saying, that mist or that smoke that's going throughout the image, and then the connection of the whatever that is in the sky
Yeah,
is similar to the figure on the right. So
Yeah.
that- and then those circular objects in the landscape. I mean, there's a lot going on.
yeah,
There also seems to be something here that's not quite visible, like an under
Right.
layer or an under image. Is there, Smadar?
Yeah, there are a few layers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can the artist speak on this one?
This piece was made of the characters are cut out of printmaking, and the moon also, and the background is obviously a different place, and I use different layers to make it a little, not totally clear. I play with the image until I feel that that's it. I want to stop here. And it's really for the beholder to read whatever they read into this. This is not a comfortable image. It brings some discomfort when you look at it, because he
Mhm.
looks in distress and she
Yeah.
looks like she's warning him, or
Yeah,
scared, and
No, I agree. It's like they've been attacked.
yeah.
yeah, that's what I said.
And yet in contrast, there's the stillness and the organized layers of what I think are hay that have been
Right.
baled,
Right.
Yeah.
steady, not moving.
Oh, that's interesting.
It almost seems to me that the image, the layered image in the very center looks like a farm animal.
Here, are you talking about?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
It almost looks like a cow, or
I didn't
Is
see
Well,
that
that's
before.
unintentional.
is it unintentional?
Not intentional at all.
Yeah, I didn't see that before. I see the animal now. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Well, it just shows you that really everybody brings their own into the image. The image is worthless if you don't identify with it in one way or another. If you don't find a feeling in the image, then it's nothing, and even if the feeling is not positive, but it stirs something in you.
That's true.
I'd be interested in how you developed this as a composition. What did you start with here?
I don't remember exactly what I started with, but the way I work is I have a certain image. I have one image that I really like, and then I start to see what goes with it. And sometimes it's a struggle. It doesn't work, and I try and I try and I try until I feel that this is satisfying to me.
Mm-hmm.
That I like the way it looks aesthetically and also like meaningfully. So yeah.
I know you said you like jarring and unusual images. Is there anything further for your choice of polka dots? Or just to be jarring and unusual? Because that is very, very strange and fascinating.
Yeah, no.
Shall we go on?
I was just gonna give an artistic reason for the polka dots.
Oh, go ahead.
The artistic reason is repetition. It's repeated in the hay.
Yes.
Yeah, I
yes,
see that.
Yeah.
So that's the artistic reason for the polka dot.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see
That's
that.
right.
Very good.
Thank you. Art and Designs.
I love it.
A&D.
That's so crazy.
I know, isn't that amazing?
So this is an image of the Dead Sea in Israel, and I don't know how many of you heard of it or not heard of it, but nothing grows in the Dead Sea. So I placed this rubber ducky in the Dead Sea just to be, you know, mischievous.
But the placement of the rubber ducky is perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
What's
From
the,
what standpoint?
what's the structure at the back? That's, I don't mean the hills, but below the hills.
Right here?
Yeah, what are those? What is that?
I'm not sure.
Is that natural? Oh, it's natural. It's not man-made.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, I saw the, I just want to go to the next image and we can come back to that image, but I saw that as a kind of natural association between these two images. Of the rubber, you know, the doll and the rubber duck in water.
Hmm. It's interesting that the photo, that the image is a woman and it doesn't look like the man who's fishing. Why I'm saying that is I have a poem about Narcissus and the person is, you know, looking at himself. So that is interesting that it's not himself that is looking at him.
Did you say, Madeline, that you don't see him fishing? Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, no, I said that he's fishing and the image he's in, the image in the water is not his face. So it's not a Narcissus situation, but it is something else. And I don't know what yet.
Anybody want to take a shot at that particular one? The best catch you can get.
I'm not sure. Is that a fish on the rock?
No.
No?
No.
We're here, you mean?
Yes. Yes.
No, it's a fissure in the rock.
Oh.
Oh, very nice. Very
That's
What
nice,
did she
Denise.
say? What did she say?
That was good.
Fissure.
Fisher.
It's a big-
Fissure.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, nice.
Okay, shall we go on?
Yeah.
These, again, I put these together just because they are all somehow for me had to do with the eyes in the portrait. Now, that's not necessarily the connection that another person would make. I mean, that's the interesting thing about, you know, my own response to this is as, you know, in hanging a show, you make certain associations among the various images that you have, and you put them together in a certain way because that's what suggests itself to you. Which does not necessarily suggest itself to another person hanging the show. That's kind of what's interesting about it, about the whole act.
Does anyone see the second portrait in this?
The second portrait, did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
I only see this first one.
Well, tell us what you see. I don't see it.
I'll give you a second.
Mhm.
If you go on a diagonal from that portrait to the leaf in the right corner, Maria,
Oh, the right corner. I'm terribly sorry.
down,
Okay.
and at the top of that leaf, there's a face right there.
Here?
I see that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's amazing.
It's like a bird.
it looks like
Maybe.
an owl.
Well, if you look at the entire leaf, it's a bird. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
I don't see it.
Oh, yeah.
But
Amazing.
you
that
mean
see
here
that.
are the eyes,
Yes,
here is the nose,
yes.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
here is
Mouth.
the mouth.
Yeah.
That's correct. But the shape of the leaf itself, it's a bird.
Hmm.
I didn't see the bird initially. I saw the
Yeah.
face.
I see it now.
Right.
And they form actually parallels here, the way,
The diagonal is repeated. Yes.
yeah,
Hmm.
very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can you go back to the eyes of the fisherman? Yeah, because the shape of the head and the eyes, and then that green shape in the head is what attracts me to this work.
Oh, uh-huh.
So if the artist has something to share, I would love to hear it.
No, I don't have anything to add. You know, it's really what you guys are reading into it, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for your response to the image, not my response to the image.
So the green area in the hair wasn't associated with sea life?
Not consciously.
Okay.
No, I think I liked, it was more aesthetically deciding to have something that would bring a little, contrast.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find this picture fascinating because there's so much growth in it
Mhm.
and so many different varieties of green. And yet to come around to the left and then over to the second face, things are not green. They are, it's either a plant that's naturally yellow and golden and red, or they are dying. And they're not as
Verdant.
fervent
Yeah,
Hmm.
as the rest of the greenery.
very interesting. And also this great gray area
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And also the woman seems trapped. She can't get out to the verdant scenery. She has to look at the dying leaves inside, and her face is pressed and compressed into that sort of box, even though her hair is outside of it. So it's kind of inside, outside, growing, not growing, fear, whatever.
That's interesting.
Whoa.
My take is the woman is looking at us, the viewer, who has the opportunity to see the beauty of the scene. And so she's experiencing that beauty by our expression or reaction to what we're seeing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because that view is framed perfectly with the dark leaves.
Oh, this.
Yeah, well, both.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
compositionally, it's perfect. I mean, I can't say enough about her compositions, but this, just demonstrates her training. You asked about that gray wall. That gray wall was necessary to balance that dark green, but that view is the focus. And so the woman is looking at us as we look at the view. That's my take.
Right, and we're the ones who have been gifted with the opportunity
Yes.
to look out. Whereas it would, I think, be easy to misconstrue it and think that she's somehow the one enjoying an opportunity. I don't
No,
think so.
no, it's us.
No, she's not.
No. So true. That's a perfect image.
Yes, yes, it's very handsome. Very handsome. I'm afraid I have to go. It's almost
Oh, Ernice, I'm so sorry.
wonderful hanging out with all of you.
Yes,
Good to see you.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet
Enjoy
you.
the rest of your day.
Bernie,
Congratulations, Lana, on a wonderful show.
thanks.
we'll do it again.
Okay, I'll be around.
Okay, good, good, good.
Is that a chandelier inside her hair?
No,
So how would you describe what's inside her hair?
well, you mean symbolically, or you mean like,
Any way you want to
okay.
address it?
So, I called it echo because sometimes we have echo, not sometimes, always echoes that of certain ideas or beliefs that we carry with us from young age. And a lot of time, these are things that are ideas that are limiting us and don't let the gold emerge. You know, the gold is symbolizing the talent and the possibilities, and the echoes are blocking us.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So what about all the curves?
You,
The,
but let
there's-
me just ask, so you mean these curves or all the curves?
All the curves.
Okay,
I don't know. I mean, I play with it. I start to draw, and I can't tell you specifically how it just comes up,
Because that curve reminds me of the curve that was in the head with the fisherman.
Mm.
And based on
wait. Which curve here?
the green.
This, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't answer that because they're made at different times, and I'm not sure. Maybe naturally I lean towards the curve. I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
But this shape, I don't know if you probably can't see me, but the sort of like a paisley here, like around the neck, that reminds me of like a question mark,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's very important to me is her head has blocks, little squares, and immediately I said, oh, that's the human fight against compartmentalization, putting things in little boxes.
Wow.
And I know that until I started writing poetry and until I got into therapy, I looked exactly like that with 100 more boxes. And then,
That's
I've
me.
grown into myself.
But for some reason, it also reminds me of religious symbols. Was that at all in it?
No.
Okay.
It's a beautiful piece.
Thank you.
I was going to say it reminded me of Jerusalem.
Dvora, oh my God. My friend, I love you.
And why did it remind you of Jerusalem?
I can't see it that clearly, okay? But like, just, it looks like it's golden and that it looks like a wall on the outside with towers and like sand colored buildings, and it looks like a wall on the side. Again, it's like not seeing it up close to seeing it a little bit softer. And because I live in Jerusalem, so I guess I have it on the brain.
It does have a Chagall feel to it.
Yes, it does. It's almost like the breastplate that the priests wear.
Say that again?
The breastplate that a priest wears when they're performing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has that feel.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very strong piece.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was actually bought twice.
Wow, that's a story.
I know.
You want to tell it?
No, I'm joking. It's no.
Oh.
Yeah, they're all editions of 5. So.
Oh.
Okay.
This is also a piece we left untitled. If you give a title to it, perhaps that will be an indication of your feeling about this piece.
I guess my first question would be, who is she?
What
Is she someone? Is she someone that you know, the woman in the picture?
Why is it important?
To me, it's important, I guess, because of finding a connection, not finding a connection, just curiosity. Is it fiction, nonfiction? It's just a question.
Well, the image is definitely fiction, but the person is somebody I know very well, but the position is very, I caught it like, I caught a position that is not natural, but I used it, and obviously the face is drawn, so you don't really know who it is. But really it's not important who it is. When I make my images, it's not really important, but I do use sometimes people that I know, but I change the features, or I change something so that you cannot tell.
But I find it interesting that Uniqua kind of picked up on that perhaps it was someone you knew. That I find interesting.
My title is Run.
I'm with you. She's definitely escaping from something. No question in my mind.
We're going into something.
How do you mean that?
It's an interesting picture. It's interesting. It almost looks like a hurried type of situation. So that's why I said maybe going into something or going towards something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it has movement. The back, the tree.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah,
like it's a stormy night.
Yeah. Very stormy. Hurricane something.
Yeah.
And you see that as being on the outside or on the inside?
What do you mean by that?
Is what is in the background actually a reflection of what is going on in her?
Oh, that's interesting. I see it outside.
I see it outside too.
And in the contrast of her being solid and everything else is blurry and in movement, I think is what makes the piece work.
Agreed.
She's like dissociated though, right? In some ways the figure feels like she's like, I don't know.
No, she's in motion, but she is completely intact. Everything else, even the railing or the fence is blurry. Everything in this picture is blurry but her.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like she's coming towards us. She
definitely is.
You know.
So are we the safe haven?
Definitely.
It all depends on who she's running to, Maria.
Oh. What's the medium?
It's oil pastels and digital images.
What do you mean? It's like there's something superimposed on it?
Yeah, they're all the works are layered.
Do you have a close-up that we could see it really, that we could see the detail?
I don't have a detail on this one. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
You
No,
could
there's a
just
little-
put,
But can you see that these are like bamboo
yes.
pieces
Uh-huh,
over
right.
these are bars that she is behind bars.
Right, but she wasn't referring to the empty symbols. She was referring to the process.
But didn't you want to know? I'm sorry. What's your name? Who was the speaker?
Devorah.
Devora.
Yeah.
Devora. Hi, Maria.
Hi,
Devora,
Maria.
were you asking what in this image is the digital part of it? Is that the question?
Exactly. Because I see some like turquoise on the cheek, like and I don't know. Yeah, it's hard for me to see.
Well, it's the original drawing is drawn with oil pastels, but there are layers of other, I can't really break it down to you because it's manipulated by Photoshop,
Right.
so it has different layers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, very powerful.
And this was two images that I thought had an association on the same page.
So I just have to say something. It's funny, Dvora, that you came because the image got the title that you gave it once.
No kidding.
Boxed in.
Which one are you referring to?
This one, Boxed In with the
Oh,
cube.
Okay.
That was the title that Dvora gave.
No kidding. That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Are those birds on the side?
Yes.
Very nice. And that's also mixed media? Like, what is that, colored pencil or something?
Yeah.
And it's just this image that's colored pencil. Is all the rest of it digital?
The rest of it is digital, but put together. It's not necessarily that it was in one. The birds are taken from another picture.
Yes.
And
Okay.
scenery is different. Yeah.
It's great. It's like the box is flying.
Yeah.
I think I would change it to flying boxed it.
So
Box.
very, very nice that you said that, because I always say, you look at an image, you view it today, and you're going to give it a title of how you are feeling today. And you
That's
can
right.
look at it another time when you'll be in a completely different mood, and you will give it a different title, because it all reflects where our hearts are. It's
That's
not
right.
really,
Yeah.
So yeah, boxed in is a little constricting, but floating could be, a different feeling. And
Mhm. Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, there's a contradiction there too, boxed in, but free in a way.
And also the figure is looking at the flying bird, so the figure, maybe have great impetus to get out of the box and want to be like the birds.
Ah.
Hmm. That's so womanly.
Devorah, say
Can you
again.
explain that?
Oh, I thought it feels very like woman to me, very like full and I don't know, very, I don't know, womany, very, not feminine, but womany.
Oh, well,
I
say
have to
more
look,
about
I have to look that up.
Yeah.
I was laughing because I was like, what's the difference?
That's a new word in the dictionary now.
No, but you have something in mind, Devorah. So, you know, what is womany? What does that mean to you?
Like, it's almost like she's Mother Earth,
Uh-huh.
It's
you
beautiful.
know? There's just like the movement, it's like, feels like the whole world is, you know,
Like she-
somehow.
Like, okay. Nurturing and powerful at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
But she's definitely one with nature here.
Yeah,
There's no question about that.
Yeah.
This
the
makes
water,
this
I'm
makes me want to
sorry.
question your process also, because this is amazing.
Thank you.
How you were able to connect, join in a seamless fashion, the water, the tree, the sky, or the waves, all together to make it look as if it's one piece.
Yeah, it takes a long time because, as you said, it's really hard to get to a place where you feel this is, I like it,
Mhm.
and I played with it a lot until I liked it, so there's different images from different places that are layered, and I always start with something and then I add things, and I don't have a vision in the beginning what it's going to look like. I have no idea. It's all from the gut, and it's all spontaneous.
So in this piece, the colored pencil portrait was where you started?
I started maybe I started with the face, and then I added, and like even in the face, if you see the sort of like flowers,
Yes,
that's a digital image
Right.
that is superimposed, and then I added the tree, and then the waves, and the gray in the background, like every piece is from a different image.
Right.
And
I also see a stern man's face either within her face or on top of her face.
This portion?
Yes.
The Picasso effect.
Yeah, this is really a terrific transition from here into the swirl.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Did the artist mean to have another face in there?
No.
Huh.
That was a little too fast. No.
No. But it doesn't matter to me. It's like, as I said, what you see, that's what's important, Yeah, and amidst the storm, it's like even when things are stormy in our lives, there's a hint of a rainbow in the colors and the circular motion.
Yes.
But of course, when you're putting it together, it may be unconscious, but you too are responding not only to the images, but to something inside of you. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Maria, can you go back to the image with the gold in the hair?
The gold in the hair, yes. Great.
Thank you. Okay, now go back to the last image. Thank you.
So what do you want us to see?
No, it's the curves.
Yeah.
I wish you could put them side by side because they have a lot of similarities, but they're quite different at the same time.
Mhm.
Were they done at similar time?
Not at all.
Not at all?
This is actually my newest piece. The Amidst the Storm is it's very recent. And the one with the gold is a few years old.
Okay, okay.
You can just see the little images here. You can compare it.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
Dennis, I really appreciate your artistic remarks.
That's A&D.
Oh my God.
We were trained well.
Yes.
Okay, so these are 3 images that are on the page. Or you may see other relationships too, but I thought these had a similarity to them.
Can we see the other ones again, please? Mm-hmm. Cool. So what do you see, Maria? What do you see that's similar?
Actually, I'm pondering something totally different now because this piece, which is called Awaiting Clarity, has a lot of unclear images behind and throughout. I mean, the rock is perhaps the clearest thing here, but looking at it, it reminded me of the other piece with the woman and the unclear background. And so, you see different associations when you look at these images one after another.
Right.
When you have them all in front of you, you try to find the associations that work in a hanging, so that you get a certain flow. But as we're going through this and talking about it, especially with the artists who are here, they see things that we don't necessarily see as non-artists, and they really open your eyes to other associations and other similarities. And I find that very, very interesting. So
right, because this piece can actually be connected to at least 2 other pieces in the
so
show.
one would be the woman with the unclear background. Would that be one of the associations or not?
You would have to go to the whole group.
Okay, hold on.
Now, which one are you referring to?
This one.
It could be, but that's
Okay.
not the one I had in mind.
Okay, so which one did you have in mind?
The one with the moon and the 2 figures under attack.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I can see a connection between that piece and this piece.
Oh, yes.
And the last piece is the after of this piece.
The last piece is the what? I'm sorry.
It's what came after.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, see, that's the after.
Hmm.
So I'll say something, Dennis. You have such a good eye.
Thank you.
The image before that I said was made out of, it was printmaking that was cut out, right?
Which one?
The image with the under the moon.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And this one also had, so that printmaking was it was a collection of printmaking that were done from the same colors. And one of the layers in this image is
Yep.
from the same printmaking set as the other image.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. This whole section, you cut straight from it. Yeah.
It's not straightforward, but
Well,
go ahead.
I do collage work, so I know that the color, the gold, the gray, is the same figure to the right in the other image.
Right.
Right. So.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I just want to say we're coming up on 1.5 hours. I don't know how much longer we have until 2, but I just want to know, because this discussion is so, especially, you know, it reminds me of being in the gallery, actually, in the gallery space, where, you know, a small group gets together and they just, you know, parse everything, you know, and talk amongst themselves about every piece. And it's a marvelous discussion when it happens. But I just want to know, are you able to continue this at least for 20 minutes more?
How many pieces do we have left?
Actually, not too many. 4.
Okay, so let's continue.
Let's just continue. I'll just mention that for me, I really like this image. Personally, I like this image, and I like the unclarity of it, and
you liked it from the compositional standpoint, or emotional?
It kind of speaks to me. I like it from a compositional point of view, and I even though it's fuzzy and it's not completely clear, it's meaningful to me. And the fact that sometimes when things are not clear, we fight so much to try to get it to be clear, and sometimes we just have to leave it, let it be, and it will clear when it clears, you know. Just be with the feeling of unclarity.
So emotionally it speaks to you as well. Yeah.
Actually, I want to say that this piece is the only one that I somewhat planned ahead. Yeah, okay, but go ahead, you guys say whatever.
Because you had the idea of the puzzle in your mind?
I had the idea of the puzzle in my mind. Yeah.
The thing that intrigues me, if I may just start, is this piece here.
Well, you know, this is a painting. It was first a painting, and I decided to use the painting as the background for the puzzle.
Well, I just want to say 2 things. I've always wanted to do something with jigsaw pieces or jigsaw piece shape. And also the area that Maria just pointed out is the entry point into the work. It's either how you enter the work or how you escape from the work. But I think it's how you come into the work. So I mean, I'm telling you, your compositions are spot on.
Thanks.
I mean, spot on.
Thank you.
Even the curves in that the individual curved pieces are like steps to bring you in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How do you mean that?
How do I mean what? The steps?
Yeah.
It's like a staircase.
Oh, these individual pieces.
Yes, yeah, those pieces are like steps down the
Yeah,
stair.
that's what I saw, like the staircase.
Yeah. Instead of it, if you didn't have those pieces, you would just go in too fast. So that slows your your movement into the piece,
Mm.
which gives you time to realize where you're going. And then someone else can talk about why they're there and what they hope to achieve.
Mhm.
But that's that. This is amazing. This is a very strong piece.
Thank you.
Well, another artist who saw who went through the exhibit and couldn't be with at the opening reception, said that she loved this particular piece, and I said why, and she said, well, because it's universal.
Because
And
what? I'm sorry, I missed it. Because
it's a universal feeling.
uh-huh.
And she didn't say more about it, which I have to follow up with her about. But I assume she meant there's always a missing piece, or the idea of a missing piece is something that perhaps we all experience.
And either two people together are opposing the other person as far as solving the puzzle, or they're all working on it together. And it's hard to see. It looks like one woman, two men, and I'm not sure if the man has religious garb. I don't know that stuff, but I'm just, what's coming up for me.
Huh?
Well, I like the fact that we can't see their faces. So they represent anyone and everyone. And I see them as working together.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I'm not even sure if I would call that the missing piece, but it is a significant piece.
What would you call it?
I would call it a significant piece or a needed piece.
Okay.
I think I would call it problem solving. When I saw that piece, it reminded me of a couple of things: a missing piece to a puzzle in the sense of problem solving, strategic move, or maybe even calling it strategic moves.
Uh-huh.
It is a beautiful, interesting piece of work.
Very, very good piece.
I would call it puzzled.
Puzzle. I like that. I like that.
Very nice, Deborah.
Thank you. What's the background, like the floor?
It's a photograph from a place in Italy, and I don't remember exactly where, but yeah.
I appreciate the wear and tear.
I'm sorry?
I said I appreciate the wear and tear and
Yeah.
the imperfections within the blocks.
Yes.
I think if it was perfect, it would not have the same feel.
Yeah.
But those imperfections create a different vibe.
Mhm.
And what's the feel that it gives?
What? Because of the imperfections?
Yeah.
Without the imperfections, it would be too perfect, and we would focus on the perfection of the grid. And so by being imperfect, we don't focus on the boxes. We focus more on the path that she's taken.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see the birds. But if it was perfect, we would just be looking at the perfection of the skill set.
And also some steps are smooth in life and some are not.
That is correct.
Yeah, my feeling about it is she's on some sort of a journey. The birds are really interesting. I mean, because in a way they, she's accompanied by the birds. I'm not sure. I don't have something that comes up that says I understand the significance of the birds, or the birds have a certain significance to me, but I do like them. That much I know. I like those birds. I like them where they are too. And of course they mirror the I mean, yes, there's blue in the steps, but you also see the black and white here, you know, and it's a mirroring of that.
So Maria, which bird do you think is going to reach her first, the white bird or the black bird?
But she's going toward them. I don't see them as coming toward her.
Well, they're in flight. So
yeah, but I see them in advance of her, I guess. Or maybe they'll intersect with her. I'm not sure.
So you think the birds are going to remain together throughout their journey, or are they going to separate?
No, they'll remain together, and they'll stay with her.
Well, that's interesting because I see the black bird going up, and I see the white bird going towards her.
Oh.
If you look at the birds themselves, so I think the white bird is going to reach her.
I see what you're saying.
Now, I don't know the symbolic meaning between the black and the white bird, but I would imagine there has to be. And I'm not even asking the artist to share that, but there's a reason other than the gray. And again, compositionally, I mean, the pink is perfect because anything else would have been too strong. And the black and white with the gray and the white. I mean, I have to study under this. I mean, this is amazing.
And the red shoes.
Oh, I didn't even see the shoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even see the shoes.
So, Smadar, having had that kind of a reaction to it, was there a significance for you of the black and white?
Not consciously. I love the way that they look together. They're taken from different places, different photos. But I like that the black and the white can live together happily, be lovebirds, you know. All of us with opposing views and opposing, still underneath, we share the same ground and the same, you know, the same air. We breathe the same air, you know, and I don't know, just learn to live in peace.
I'm sorry to interrupt everyone. I need to leave. I have to say that this has been a beautiful opening. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Your photograph.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Yuqua. Okay, so, and these are the final two images. This is The Long Way Home, and this was another untitled piece. So. Devorah, do you want to take a stab at this one?
What I like the most in that picture so far is the holding their hands behind their back like that. Because I knew people that used to walk that way. My father and my uncle would walk that way. It's a very kind of leisurely way of walking. So maybe they're like not, I can't see that well, but it looks to me like they have gray hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They elderly.
Yeah. So I guess they're like taking their time, you know?
And they're no longer holding hands, but they are together side by side. And that's the natural evolution of a long time relationship.
That it's more, to me, the holding hand in the back, it's more like a contemplative walking. You know?
Okay.
It's like when you walk slowly and you think about things and you contemplate, you know.
Mhm.
It's interesting. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
Initially, I thought it was a staircase and an escalator.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yes.
So it is a staircase.
A
Yeah.
staircase and an escalator on the side, yes.
Okay. So then my interpretation is correct. So
Mhm.
they're taking the staircase and not the escalator,
Right,
right? Because it's going to take them longer to get home.
yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean it's gonna take them longer to get home?
It all depends on what home represents. I believe that when they reach home, they're going to reach the end of their journey.
I'll just call that next week sometime.
Oh, there's noise from somewhere.
Yeah, there's a phone.
I don't know where it's from.
Okay, so my interpretation is home is the end of the journey.
Ah,
So if they take the escalator, they're going to get there faster. But if they take the stairs, not only will it take longer, but they can control their pace and how long it takes them to reach the home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's my take.
Great.
And is home is it a real home or is it a metaphorical home?
You speaking to me?
Yeah.
Or
it could be to anybody.
home represents death in this picture for me.
Mm-hmm. It did for me as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they picked the right staircase.
That depends where it's better.
Oh, that's true.
We don't know that yet.
That is so true.
Yeah.
No two-way tickets, huh?
This for me is such an interesting piece. With the man here and then these two figures, which are redolent, of course, of these figures. For me, it was.
Yeah.
And Madeline, interestingly enough, in this one, they're holding hands.
Yeah.
Which
I noticed that too.
yeah, which I thought was really, really neat. And they have their hearts right there, very, very visible.
Yes, and they look very young and yes, playful, young, and they're being looked at by an old gentleman.
An old what?
An old
Gentleman.
gentleman.
A gentleman, yeah.
Yeah,
Gentleman.
man.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
I thought they looked like scarecrows,
Uh-huh.
but again, I can't. It's a very small picture, but right, because isn't that like a stick figure? Like the arm is a stick,
Yes.
Yes.
right? I don't know. Maybe it's a memorial.
A memorial in what way? What do you mean, Deborah?
You know, like a sculpture for like you know, you see in the park they have a sculpture of Emily Dickinson. You know, a tribute.
Uh-huh.
And,
Well, I see this as a very sweet picture somehow. You know, I really like those two characters, those whoever they are, and the man contemplating them. This is also untitled, if you'd like to give it a title.
If I was young again.
Ah,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
oh, very nice.
Well, I just want to say this was awesome.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed the exchange.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Me too.
This was wonderful, and of course, Shelton, you're an artist. Your comments are, you know, very, very stimulating, and so, you know, I appreciate that very much. You know, that you shared so much of
Yes.
your
thank you,
knowledge.
Janice.
Yeah, And you're
You're
feeling,
quite welcome.
and then and everyone else as well. I mean, it was lovely
course.
to hear, you know, your reactions to these images, and the interchange with Smadar was really terrific. There is something so wonderful about having this kind of an interaction.
Yeah, I agree. It's important for artists to hear from lay people more than another artist, because a lay person is going to see it with their heart,
That's right.
and most artists see it with their eyes before their heart. So it's good to have lay people view your work and comment.
Absolutely. Thank
So
you,
that-
everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Madar.
Thank you.
Congratulations. It's, you know.
Very exciting.
Yes, it
Thank
is.
you.
Eye into the eye.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Maria.
Dennis, don't forget to let me know when you have an exhibit.
My work will be shown at Gallery 18 next month. I'm following you.
All right.
With 2 other artists.
Okay, great.
and you'll all find out about it. I mean, and it's going to be really very exciting because it's in coordination with the opening of the Y Sunday Market, and so there'll be a lot of people there at the opening out of doors, which is
Oh,
really cool.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
outdoors.
Well,
But-
unfortunately, I'll be in Israel, but I'll watch from there.
Okay.
oh, okay, good.
All right.
Good.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
there
you,
will be, oh,
everyone.
by the way, yeah, there will be a virtual presentation earlier than the opening.
Oh,
So, you know, and you'll get notification of that too. So
Okay.
you'll hear from all 3 artists who,
okay.
as I say, are all collaborating on this. Yeah.
Maria, thank you
Okay.
so much for organizing and
Thank
helping,
My
you.
pleasure.
helping
Yeah.
me through this.
Yeah.
And thanks, everybody.
Yes. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
All right,
Bye.
so enjoy.
Bye.
Lots of good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very enjoyable.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Be safe, everybody.